Yes, sir. That's our intro music. I like it. Getting better every week. Second week in a row. I like it more this time. You want listen to the Chiefs weekly podcast. Still looking for a name. Don't have one I quite like yet, though. I got a pretty good suggestion, guys. Juice Crew. The Juice Crew. Shout out to Country Boy. What's up, man? That's a good one. I like that one. But that's not final yet. I'm still soliciting names for this pod. And as always, I'm here with the A-team. And unlike last week when my man Templeton Peck faced Kerkhoff was on assignment, he's here. We got the whole crew in the house. We got Hannibal, Vahe Gregorian, Howlin' Mad, Sam Mellinger, and of course Face. I am your host, Terez Paylor, also known as T.A. Baracus, short for B.A. Baracus. Just gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna enjoy this thing. We got another good podcast for you here. Last one went 52 minutes. That was a star record. And unfortunately for these guys here, I'm feeling like grandstanding again. So this was going to push that one too.
We can break that record.
We're going to go for it.
Can I ask you one quick question? If we decide to go with Juice Crew, are we going to get to pick our own names? Are we going to do something?
I say if you want to do that, you can do that if that's what we go with.
All right. I'm not saying I have to.
Well, we can do that, but that hasn't been decided yet. So for now, we're the A-team.
I think it puts us in line for a title sponsor, though.
I agree. I agree. And I'm still looking for a sponsor. I'm not coming off that. I want one, guys. That's going to happen. And I think we set a pretty good format last week. I asked you guys some questions. We take some questions from people. And I got another addition this week as far as a feature. So stay tuned for that. That'll be later after we handle everything. I think you guys.
That wasn't in our production meeting.
No. I'm calling some shots here.
Oh, okay.
I'm making some decisions, right?
Right.
You gotta have one guy who makes calls, right? Well, I'm making some calls. But hey, let's jump into this thing, man. We're covering an 8-5 team that's won 7 in a row, and I've got a fine collection of reporters and football minds, and I was really happy with our coverage from yesterday's 10-3 win over the Chargers. I thought collectively we covered everything we needed to cover. There were some really good stories in there. And I kind of want your opinions on a few things that I've thought of since then while looking at our coverage and looking at the game again. Let's jump into some stuff. So you guys ready?
You went through our tape? Is that what you're saying?
I went through your tape.
Our work?
I like to think of myself as a football professor, right? I like to think of myself as somebody who you try to be diligent about the craft. So that's the art of it, right? PhD. Let's go. And I think the player I named, my player of the game was obviously D Ford, and that was for obvious reasons. But one thing I thought was especially good about your column, Vahe, is that it brought some. It was important to remember that there's another side to this too. Like, it was a great performance, but there's still a but there with him. And my question for you guys is it okay to feel good if you're a Chiefs fan about D Ford's performance? Based on what you guys saw yesterday, is it okay to maybe go from the ledger of, oh, no, he's not going to make it, to the ledger of, oh, I think he is going to make it? Like, can you make that jump based off what you saw Sunday?
I'll tell you what, here's how I see it. I think it primes the pump, right? It's no matter what, it's positive movement forward. It's more experience. It's getting things done in tough situations. And, look, there's no doubt that he I think, benefited from I don't want to use the Alex Rios weak play at left tackle, but I think that enabled him to do more than he might have normally. But the whole thing for him is just playing more too. I think we forget that. I think we forget that. That's his second NFL start. But I still can't, as we got into on 3 and out, I still kind of can't get past the oddity of that. The reason he was offside.
I love that.
It just, but
I love the honesty.
I also can't get past.
That honest about that again.
Well, we have.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Chiefs have their people monitoring the podcast, and they'll be like, yeah, we need to make sure we reel him in on that. But you're right. I also was very appreciative of his candor.
Right, and that was the guy I met at the Senior Bowl 2 years ago. The guy that talked to us after the game that will tell you that'll talk to you and is personable, and the guy we saw on the field. Like, did you see the enthusiasm he had after he made plays? Like, the enthusiasm was a guy I saw there, too, like a guy who enjoyed playing. And I will say this, if the concerns about the competition are valid, like, I get that. Harrison's played more than Dunlap this year. Like Chris Harrison had a bad game. But, like, he'd been getting better, and he played more than Dunlap this year. So it wasn't like the equivalent of some guy that Chiefs might have thrown in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not named Donald Stevenson. I mean, this was a guy, 4-year veteran. He's played. He started like 20-something games in this league. And so I'll say that in the fact that it looked like he really was enjoying playing. Like, the enthusiasm he played with is a good sign going forward. But if you guys got something to add, I mean, is it okay to be optimistic with his future after that?
Well, like, I don't want to take your question like too literally, but like, yeah, I think Chiefs fans can think and feel whatever the hell they want. You know, like they should be excited.
Yes, you're
like,
taking it too literally.
Your guy had 3 sacks.
You know where I'm.
But here's what I mean.
What are we doing here? You know what I meant. Let's go.
All right, so here's what I mean. In the way that you mean it, no, he's not an all-pro.
There we go. I want to take.
He had one game. One game.
Right.
But here's what I think about that is that the most encouraging thing, it's not his fault that Chris Hairston was garbage yesterday. I mean, he can't do anything about that. What he can do is beat the guy that's across from him.
Right.
And I think that what it showed is that he's been paying attention in those linebacker meetings, and he's been working hard, and he has the right attitude and all. Like, he's done what he needs to do. And, you know, the Randy Kovitz had the tweet about, like, Sylvester Morris once had 3 touchdown catches against the Chargers.
Did he have that tweet?
Yeah. So, like, you know, let's not get out of control here. But, like, he did – if D Ford may not be a good player. Like, you know, in 3 years we may be talking about, hey, remember that day that D Ford had 3 sacks? But if D Ford is a good player would have done exactly what he did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
well said.
What more do you want?
And in my game, Ross said that game is either going to be remembered as a start of as the game where you saw what he could really do, or just like the ultimate tease for that guy.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like that's
It was a good line. It was right.
But I tell you one thing. If you were somebody that was on the D4 bandwagon, you wanted that game. Like, that game was good for you because there really hadn't been a whole lot to show.
Yeah, you
know,
were
up
still
until,
hungover from that party.
Right, you were still there. And I think and we're going to move on real quick, but one thing is that up against the Raiders, we always talked about how the tackles just kept riding him past the quarterback, right? So, but one thing to keep an eye on, his first sack, Hairston rode him past the quarterback, and this was a sign of good coaching. D dug in, turned the corner, right? He bent the corner, which is what Dorsey has always said he could do, and got to the quarterback. So he didn't just keep going upfield. He bent the corner. And that's a sign of good coaching. So now, you can push him past the quarterback, but he's a flexible guy. If he can bend that corner in a way that a lot of guys can't, they don't have that kind of flexibility, that could be trouble for teams. So that's something to keep an eye on going forward. And you know what? Shout out to Gary Gibbs on that, because that was a coaching point. That was impressive that he was able to get that. That sack was clean too. We were watching that. Actually, remember you and I were watching that, Face. Remember that?
Yep.
And it was just almost a surprise. It was just like, whoa, where did that come from? Remember?
Look, in Week 14 of his second season, D Ford turned in a serviceable performance as a reserve player. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I still want Justin Houston back as soon as possible. Because I'm not taking, I am taking into consideration the competition at the position and for the team, and bless D Ford for having the few plays that he had a week after Pro Football Focus had him as the lowest graded edge rusher in football against the Raiders. So. I'm not sharing in the ebullience, the jubilation of D Ford. I still think, in the grand scheme of things, he's behind. He's still behind. But it was a good sign that he was able to do the things that he did on Sunday. And to me, what that says is the Chiefs have developed some depth. And Justin Houston can be out, and they can bring in a guy who, in that situation, can come up with 3 sacks and a good defended pass at the end of the game. Yeah. And that's just where I am on it.
All right, that's fair. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this next one because it's special teams. But do you guys think that there's something to the thought of, with everything they've kind of shown on offense, everything they've shown on defense, how worried should Chiefs fans be about these special teams issues they've got right now? Because in the playoffs, like, this stuff matters, Couldn't you just – we always talk about, well, I'm from Detroit, so like Lions fans always talk about Lions luck. Well, Chiefs luck, right? The Chiefs fans have suffered plenty. Couldn't you guys see like a missed field goal or a bobbled snap or a muff punt costing them in the playoffs?
We've seen that.
You know what I mean?
Has that happened?
You know, like, couldn't you just see that
picture
happening? Couldn't you just
Somehow.
see it? So, like, with these signs coming at this point of the season, how concerned should fans be about this right now with some of these issues?
Couldn't you just see a fumble bouncing off somebody's helmet on the way to a 28-point comeback? And
Somehow.
Well, look, it's better to have this happen now than in the postseason. To me, the long snapping is the first concern because that's been a couple of weeks. We've seen that now for a while. I wonder if the conditions have played a role. They'll never say that publicly, but the Chiefs have played in rain for each of the last 3 weeks. Yep. Some of the snaps have been bad by James Winchester, and the operation has been off, resulting in missed extra points. That terrible field goal attempt on Sunday. The missed extra point happened in Oakland the previous week. But that doesn't. They lost a 50-yard punt return on Sunday. Frank Hammonds, and he dropped. He fumbled a punt too.
That's two in a row.
Yeah, these are concerns because these things weren't happening during the first 5 games of the 7-game winning.
Look, he might have some good things in him, but I'm ready. Even with DeAnthony Thomas out, I'm ready to see Macklin handle that ball. I mean, you can't have it. He's coughed up 2 of the last 4, 2 of the last 5 punt returns, right?
There's some dumb decisions too. Like it's beyond like dropping a ball, but like fielding punts that I don't think they should be fielding. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That is
inside the 10 last week, right?
Let that go.
Yeah.
And the penalties. The penalties. I don't know how many big plays they had on Sunday that were just wiped out. That Kelsey block was. Egregious. There's no way that is not getting called. That took back I can't remember if that was West or Ware that had a big gain down the right sideline.
It's actually pretty funny you say it was egregious because I asked Andrew Reid about that, and he said that the reason he was arguing it on the sideline was because Kelsey was the number 1 target on the play. And it's not, I mean, you guys are never going to believe this, but it's not like in Andy Reid's nature to like explain stuff like that. He never explains stuff like that. So
unless he thinks he's right.
So I tend to believe him that he was the number 1 target. So for him to be the number 1 target, he can't, he doesn't make sense for Kelsey to have been picking anybody. Right, and that's why he was arguing it. So I just thought that was interesting.
But on the video, he was like in the guy's back.
Right, and here's the thing though. These kind of penalties have happened enough that he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt on that.
Right.
Like, a lot of these guys, they can't get they've had a lot of stupid penalties this year. Well, yeah. I mean, they've had.
They have more than you would think.
Teams,
more than you would think.
Especially on special teams. If they don't get this shored up, this is going to be a problem in the playoffs when the margin for error is so small.
Reminds me of your my favorite tweet in the history of the Kansas City Star on Twitter was you in training camp, Terez, where you're like, "Oh, y'all make fun of me for talking about the long snapper." #ball watchers. And if you think, that was the absolute best.
And if you think for 1 second the #ball watchers isn't coming back in the playoffs if they mess up, because these are the little things that matter in football. Like you better get this stuff down.
Yeah.
You don't get it down, you lose games, and when you lose games, bad stuff happens, obviously.
Hey, you alluded to this, and you're in charge here, but I really want to hear what everybody thinks about what's going on with Kelsey right now.
Well, that's
on your list. Sorry,
that's on our list.
Yeah, sequence. Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to continue forward here. We will get to that though. We will get to that, I promise. But I want to give a shout out to the dude.
Stick to the production.
Vahe from Hyde Park with a question here. Okay.
I want to give a shout out to the dude who asked the question. So that's later in the show. Real quick. Is anybody ready to say they're better than the Broncos right now? If you guys look at the Chiefs, do you think the Chiefs are a better team than the Broncos right now? I'm taking thoughts. I'm fielding thoughts. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think that the Broncos' defense is pretty ridiculous. Their defense is probably better than the Chiefs when they're at full strength. I need to see more from Osweiler. I just don't know. I think the Chiefs have the better quarterback. I think Osweiler's really struggled. Is it 1 or 0 or 1 touchdown in the last 2 games for him? Something like that.
Boy, I tell you what, he's
been struggling.
He had the big drop against the Raiders. who was it who had the drop on the 4th and 20 that they had the first down. But he has been struggling the last couple. It's reopened the Peyton Manning Osweiler debate. When Manning gets healthy, what are they going to do? But listen, to answer your question, if you take the aggregate, the 2 games that they played against each other, you've got a decisive Chiefs victory, and you've got a
fluke loss.
Fluke loss. That's right.
Yep.
We say a loss. It was a tie game until the Charles fumble led to the touchdown with 35 seconds to go.
Right.
Maybe the Chiefs lose that game in overtime. But anyway, they were there. They had kind of controlled the game until the very end.
Yeah, they're up 14
right.
in the fourth quarter, I think, right? At least in the second half.
Right. So in the aggregate, the Chiefs have been the better team. And so we're asking this question after the Chiefs have won 7 straight and the Broncos have, kicked away a couple here in the last 3 weeks, a month or so. I say the Chiefs are a better team.
And the other thing about this that's kind of interesting is there's no scenario where they play on a neutral field. So that's it. You think of it as, well, would they win there? Would they win here? But I like, if I can place my arms around the idea of at a neutral site. I do like the Chiefs in that game.
Yeah, and I think at this point, I do too. Just Osweiler, I don't think I think teams have figured
him out.
Like, he can do stuff, but not like a good Manning can. If I were a Chiefs fan, I'd be a lot more worried about facing even Peyton Manning's ghost of maybe being turning back the clock, more than I would be of Osweiler.
If he can even be Peyton Manning of week 2, not Peyton Manning of 2003 or whatever.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Peyton Manning of week 2. He started really humming it in the second half there, that game at Arrowhead.
And I got to tell you, some of that stuff that they did against him in week 2, they didn't do a few weeks, a month ago. Where were all the pick plays and all that stuff that he's used to torture everybody? If they get back to running that stuff, might be a different game. Will be a different game.
Yeah.
So,
the other thing is that the Chiefs turned the ball over 5 times in the game, and that's not going to happen.
Yep.
That's not going to happen again.
Well, it's the playoffs and the Chiefs. You never know.
That's true.
Okay, so this is the part of the show where I want to do something different. Now, the great Bill Parcells has a lot of theories on football. I, being an enormous football dork, have enjoyed these theories, and I'm somebody I like to learn about them and try and come together and form my own philosophy. So when I saw that Bill Parcells had 11 quarterback commandments when it came to breaking down quarter and evaluating if a guy can play, there was no way we weren't going to talk about these on this podcast. And we'll make it kind of quick because we got a lot of stuff we want to get to. But I thought these would be pretty interesting to go over because
Why are you hiding it from us?
I'm pretty sure no one in this room has heard these. So let's go. Number 1, if you're a decision maker and you got to pick a quarterback, the number 1 thing you do is ignore other people's opinions. It's press, don't press, the TV, agents, advisors, family, friends, wives, hangers-on. Ignore them on matters of football. They don't know what's happening here. So we're going to ignore that one because we're the press.
Except the press.
Everybody except the press. Right. The press knows what it's talking about. Number 2, and this is a good one. This is important. Clowns can't run a huddle. Don't forget to have fun, but don't be the class clown. Clowns and leaders don't mix.
The Chiefs play the Browns, don't they? Later this year.
If you knew you beat me to my joke. Damn. Because I was just going to say, there's no way he drafts Johnny Manziel as a clown. You know what I mean? Right. And I tell you what, I'd be surprised if there were some football people that didn't put Jameis Winston in that same class, right? Yeah. But, okay, I think we can all safely say Alex Smith is clearly not right. He's safely in the not a clown category, right? One of the most consistent, smartest guys on the team. Yeah. So he's 1 for 1, right? Go ahead.
No, it was interesting because we all got talking about this yesterday. Not a clown, but something worth exploring more. And you guys got into it a little bit yesterday, Blair, in your story about that little kind of fire.
Had some edge to him yesterday.
Yeah. And it's not the first time, but we haven't seen it a lot. And one thing we got talking about yesterday with Alex Smith, how smart is he? I really wonder, and we'll never get anybody to answer this, but I wonder if quarterbacks sometimes try to draw a penalty on the sideline. I wonder if Alex Smith is turning his head and
knowing he's going to get the
a little,
contact.
Come on and hit me. as he gets knocked out of bounds there. It's sort of a little bit too much inside football, but I wonder if people would talk about
no
that
such thing
sometime.
as inside football.
One thing I noticed on Alex, like I basically watched
this room.
the Chiefs, right? And not, that's pretty much my football watching for the most part. But I don't know how many other quarterbacks do that Ty Cobb slide that he does, where he like
with the spikes up.
Yeah,
That was as
because, like,
dramatic.
when he goes like that, the rule is you can't hit him, right? So is he getting an extra yard or two by doing that?
By elevating?
Yeah.
Maybe he's the only guy I've seen do that.
Yeah.
That type of slide. But it also keeps him in a, it keeps him in a vulnerable position a little bit longer. So even if a defender is trying to avoid him, trying to slow down or something, he's taking a little bit more time to get to where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, which
Well,
might
listen,
draw a penalty.
This is the creative process. This is why this is the Juice Crew. Listen to this. You just gave me a story idea. I'm writing about the way Alex Smith slides. You got it. All right, number 3, we can just fat quarterbacks can't avoid the rush. Well, clearly it's
True that.
right. Yeah.
I'm on with that.
Yeah. 2 for 2, right? Safe to say. All right. Number 4, know your job cold. This is not a game without errors, but keep yours to a minimum and study. I'm interested in your thoughts on that. Do you guys think Alex Smith knows his job cold?
Oh, I think it's his calling card.
I do too.
I really do. And a really worthy one.
And that is what was so aggravating to me about the Packers game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you're going to be a guy who takes care of the ball and doesn't make dumb mistakes, then don't make that dumb interception
Right.
where he was going
Yeah.
the wrong way and tried to throw it to Albert Wilson. Now we're talking about, what was that, week 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a long time ago. That was in September. People were still worried about the Royals and how they would do.
Yeah.
That was that long ago. And I guess people are worried about the Royals again now. But anyway, I think that's the exception that proves the rule.
All right. So 3 for 3. All right. Number 5, know your own players. Quarterback needs to know who's fast, who can catch, which guys need encouragement. You got to be precise and know your opponent too. Based on what you've seen, you guys think Alex Smith does a good job of getting the ball to guys in the positions they like it? What do you think?
Well, let me slice onto one little aspect of this. Look at what he clearly trusts Jeremy Maclin, and maybe to the point of exclusion of others almost, right? I mean, I think that's
Can't complain about that.
No, you can't. But I do wonder if if it affects his decision making a little bit, and not necessarily negatively, right? If he knows his personnel, then so what if he throws to him 7 straight times?
I got to tell you guys, I'm just going to say
based on what they have.
I'm going to say this. Alex is making throws now he didn't make last year.
For sure.
And it's hard for me to think it's probably not a coincidence the receiving core has been remade a little bit.
Oh, it's about the trust.
Some of the throws that he did not make last year, he's making now to guys,
Didn't
And
even
I think-
attempt to make
right.
last year.
And that
Right.
makes me think that he knew he just didn't trust some of those guys out there, I don't know. I think this is a check mark for him. But it's hard to know because we're not. But I do actually, based on the way he's played this year, I actually do think this is a check mark.
I do too. For the thing, read that again real quick because there was something that jogged my mind about how he handles the
Who's
offensive
fast,
line.
who can catch, who needs encouragement.
That's the part.
Right.
Of I would like to know, and I think maybe you give him the benefit of the doubt, but like how he handles the offensive line when they were garbage last year.
I can actually answer that.
And struggled at the beginning of this year. It seems the results would indicate that he's done a pretty good job with it. But
I'm in the room, so I talk to those guys. They all say he's the same guy. Like he's never turned on them. He's certainly never thrown any of them under the bus publicly. That matters because not everybody has a discipline to do that. But they all say that they respect him because he's been the same guy the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
A guy who got mauled last year has had 7 different offensive lines this year. That's pretty telling, isn't it?
I'll also say this: as long as you don't throw your lineman under the bus publicly, I wouldn't mind hearing him ripping the guys.
that's
privately.
what I mean. Yeah, like
I wouldn't
what
mind
he's doing.
if that happened.
Yeah, what he's doing with those guys then. Like
I wouldn't mind if that happened. All
there were
right.
a few times last year like.
They deserved it.
Yeah, right.
And you could argue maybe he should have.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 6, be the same guy every day. Be in condition, prepare to lead, study your plan, because a coach cannot prepare you for every opportunity. Prepare yourself and remember, impulse decisions usually equal mistakes. Do we think Alex Smith is the same guy every day?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do.
So here's a guy who 2 months ago, we were crushing, and with reason. If I were a columnist, yeah, like I would have done it too. I'm just, my job as a beat writer, I just write what happens. But like you guys did a real good job, like especially after the Green Bay game, Sam. He deserved the criticism he got after that game.
He did.
But now look at this 2.5 months later.
great.
He's 5 for 5 on this list.
Yeah, he's been great.
And you guys aren't going to believe the next one. The next one's great. Number 7, throwing the ball away is a good play.
I think he's got that one down.
Yeah. Do we even need to expand on that? Nobody is more willing to take the L to protect the ball in the long term. All right?
Nobody throws the ball away like Alex Smith.
It's an
He's
interesting
6 for
thing.
6.
Yeah, but that's an interesting thing in itself, isn't it? Because he's doing it. He doesn't waste any time throwing it away.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's like
He'll hit the ground. I mean, that ball will hit the ground quickly.
But he
like
sees it
skipping
as
a
a
stone
positive. I
against
think
the
that's the
lake.
key.
And you can argue it is if the defense is playing lights out. All right, so that's 6 for 6. Number 7, learn to manage the game. Personnel, play calls, motions, ball handling, good reads, good throws, play fakes. Clock. Don't ever lose track of the clock. You guys think he's got that one?
For the most part, the one nit that I would pick there.
We can pick nits on that one.
Yeah, is the.
This is gonna be good.
No. But read them again. Because
All right. Personnel.
I'll ding it.
Personnel,
Okay.
play call, motions, ball handling, proper reads, accurate throws.
Proper reads.
Yeah.
He locks in on, there's times when you watch games back, there was a play in the Denver game, for instance, where Kelsey was going over the middle and Alex's eyes never drifted off at Kelsey for a second. And Jeremy Maclin was not wide open, but he ran a hitch route and he got 5 yards of separation on, I can't remember who was covering him. Would have been a first down and they had to punt it away. He locks in on his one guy too often.
Well, the Talib interception in that game was the
Great
same
example.
same
That was the
thing.
first Denver game. Yeah.
Yep.
And there are times when, before last week, Macklin's been even with a guy, and he's open. He's going to leave anybody he's even with, and he's not getting the ball. So, you can ding him a little bit in this category.
Their one touchdown yesterday reflects otherwise, right?
Absolutely, right, exactly. Right. So,
Change the play.
Yeah.
Recognize the defense.
Hot route,
Yep.
slant.
Yep.
I
Change the
think,
play.
so what's the consensus here?
I think he's mostly good there. I think
right.
that
we
the
gonna
one
count it?
weakness that's counted that's come up in what you've read so far is that he locked in on one receiver too much.
Okay. Should we count it or not? What do
I
you
would
guys
mostly count it.
All right.
I think.
Yeah, I
You
would. I
agree?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we think he's 7 for 7. Okay. We only got a few more, but I think this is interesting, right? Like you guys see why I'm doing this now? This is interesting. See, we teach on this podcast. We inform and we entertain. This is how you do it. All right. I got this radio thing down, man. This is great. Number 9. And this one, all right, this is the first one that we can, number 9, get your team in the end zone.
Do we need to talk about it?
I think we hold these truths to be self-evident. Applies here. I think we can question that one.
I think the entire body of work means that you just can't do it.
No.
You just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give Alex. I think he's been better as the season's gone on at that. And they actually need to. This is something they have got to still improve on if they want to win a playoff game. Because you cannot win playoff games in this league with field goals.
That second Denver game.
Yeah, like you can't do it. That second Denver game, you lose that if that's a playoff game.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen teams lose playoff games because they kicking field goals, that are 20 yards out? You know what I'm saying?
And the difference between that game and the Cincinnati game, where Santos had 7 field goals, was in Denver they had great field position.
Yeah.
Starting field position was just fantastic, and couldn't pick up more than a first down and ended up settling for the
And
Santos
Denver
field
was
goal.
so inept offensively in that game. Go
And
ahead,
that's
Sam.
why, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, Peyton Manning was dead in that game. And so maybe, field goals can win it. Maybe you feel like Denver's not going to score enough points. But in the playoffs, once we get there, you gotta keep going.
All right. The second to last one here, don't panic. When everything around you in chaos, you must be the hand that steers the ship. So one of my favorite phrases is, you can't be the captain of the ship some of the time. You got to be the captain all the time. And that applies to a lot of things. Whether you're a boss managing people, you can't be the boss sometimes. You got to be the boss all the time if you want them to respect you. And that especially goes if you're the quarterback. If you're the quarterback, you got to be the guy all the time. Stay calm, lead from the front, right? The ship can't have a panic button. Where do you guys think Alex is in this? Do you think he's a steady hand in this?
I do.
I actually do too.
And I think if you were, and I think even if it were an anonymous poll of players on that team, I bet you he'd come out pretty well on that.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they were given anonymity to say, I really think that. But
well, I might be answering the question in a way it's not intended, but I think in the macro, he is, green light on that. I think in the micro, there's times that he hits the escape button on a play a little bit too soon.
That's a nuanced answer to the question that's accurate. That's real good.
He's gotten better at it.
So do we give that to him? Yeah. Are we giving this to him?
I think the question is in the macro, so I'll say that.
Right?
Because
I
think
he's improved at this.
Okay.
He's improved at this.
Here's a complicated question, and it's chicken and egg on this, but how much of that, fight or flight stuff had to do with really just getting nothing from his line early in the season?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to measure the milliseconds in which you're making that decision, where it's like I'm sacked or I got to run. Anyway, I give him more the benefit of the doubt maybe than I should on that. But
the play that comes to mind in that is that Buffalo game when they were about at the 25, I want to say, and he broke the pocket because there was pressure coming that really wasn't coming, and Travis Kelce was wide open in that end zone. Remember that play?
Yep.
And he broke the pocket, and I can't remember what he ended up doing. I think he ran out of bounds at the line of scrimmage or something like that, and that could have been a touchdown.
Okay, last one. He's got this one down cold. Don't be a celebrity QB. Do you hear me, Johnny Manziel? Don't be a celebrity QB. We don't need any of those. We need battlefield commanders that are willing to fight it out every day, every week, and every season and lead their team to win after win. So based on this list, which I got courtesy, shout out to Matt Miller, NFL Draft Scout, man. He's got a great list of resources on his Twitter feed, which is great NFL books to read and research. That's where I got this from. Thank you, Matt. This is great, man. So on Bill Parcells, who we can all agree is a master at pro football, Alex Smith fits 10 of the 11 categories. And I think we can say, you guys think if he fits 10 of the 11 categories, you could argue that Bill, he could have played for that dude. Like
stronger in some than in others.
Right.
But what this list to me expresses is largely intangibles.
Yep.
Not the arm strength, not the speed, but the intangibles. And I don't know if I've ever questioned the intangibles of Alex Smith. Yep. And so to answer your question,
it's the tangibles that bother you.
That's right.
And I think that's important to remember. I'm glad you mentioned that. Like finding a quarterback is not you can't quantify it in a list. Like you try, but like if this was like the gospel, like no one would ever miss on a quarterback. You know what I mean? But I do think it was interesting. I thought this was a pretty good exercise to explore like what this guy is. Right?
There's a lot of Chiefs teams that would have loved to have Alex Smith as their quarterback.
I can't wait to see what the next week's list is going to be.
I don't know. I don't know if there'll be another list, but we do it week to week. We have stuff. And so it's time for me to unveil another new feature here. And this is great. Aren't you guys having a blast? Don't you love being in the KC Star podcast studio with me instead of being at home with your families? Isn't this great? All right, so you're never going to believe this, but the new feature is the scouting term of the week. And this is a part of the podcast where I mention a term that scouts use that I've tried to, because I like this stuff, right? And this is a funny one. So here we go. It's a card-carrying coward. NFL scouts will call somebody a card-carrying coward. And I want you guys to try and tell me what position that best applies to. What do you think? What position do you think that term best applies to if a scout's going to use it?
The two that come to mind is a cornerback and an offensive lineman.
Vahe? Blair?
Well, what's funny to me is I think receiver first. I just picture an alligator arm situation
Spoken like a former receiver.
Who probably had alligator arms. Who was scared all the time.
corner was the first one that because the images that I have of a card carrying coward are just yappy, just very yappy, and
that doesn't back it up.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes doesn't back
False
it up.
hustle.
So,
All right, so Vahe, you think yours is? You think yours?
I like mine okay. I like mine okay.
Good job. You got it. It's receiver. A scouter calls somebody a card-carrying coward if they're afraid to go over the middle. Alligator arms. You don't see many of these guys anymore. You can't play in this league if you're not going over the middle. I mean, some guys can. They just run go routes. They run the deep, kind of the deep routes. But that's one thing to remember. If you see a guy who has a reputation for refusing to go over the middle, go ahead and call him a card-carrying coward. Be an NFL scout.
Here's a question for you. Where did you hear the term, and was it applied recently?
No, this was not applied recently. But again, Matt Miller's list of actually that's from Daniel Jeremiah. Daniel Jeremiah, who's a former scout, who's an NFL he has an NFL podcast. He works for NFL Network. He's a draft guy now. He actually has like a list of scouting terms, and I saw that and I'm like, all right, and I just do some research, find out what it is. So I tell you one thing though, in this offense, if you're not willing to go over the middle, because the entire West Coast tree are these short routes that go over the middle. If you're not willing to work over the middle some, I don't know how you could fit in today's football,
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Can't do it. If you afraid to go over the middle,
Can't do it.
nope, no way.
All right, well, look, here's
Can't not coach with him. Can't do it.
Here's a question in real time, and maybe I'm being too critical of the guy. Albert Wilson had some big moments yesterday.
Oh, he'll hear about those.
But there was the very definition of what we're talking about here was a not really a slant, but crossing route ultimately, and he didn't extend.
Well, and then last week against Oakland, he didn't go.
Well, that was a little different because I don't know why he didn't do that. That was just lay out for the ball. You're not going to get hurt.
Listen, I think it's too early. You can't give him that title. But I'm just saying, like, he'll hear about
No,
those.
and I'm not giving him that title, but I'm just saying that was a moment.
That's right. And he'll don't think David Culley, who's a receivers coach, very good at his job. Don't think he's not talking to him. And competition brings out the best in everybody. Competition help you find courage you didn't know you have. If you think for 1 second Chris Conley's not looming, because he is. Because he's bigger, faster, and he was a third-round pick. He will get every chance he needs to make an impact. So
why isn't he getting more of a chance right now?
This offense is hard, man.
Is that what it is?
Andrew Reid's his offense is crazy, man. They have to do side adjustments. They got to diagnose what the coverage is mid-play. You look at the coverage mid-play, then you got to adjust your route based on that. You do that before and after. It's hard. And you better be in the right spot because you know what happens. Can anybody guess what happens if you don't know your assignments and you're on the field? Alex Smith will not throw you the football.
You get off the field.
Well, no, you might stay on the football longer than you might stay on the field longer than you think. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're not seeing that ball. Alex not throwing it your way. So that's why this might take some time for him. But I'm not giving up. I would not give up on Chris Conley. I like the pick. I watched the tape. I think this guy's got a chance to be a player. But it just takes time. That's football. That's what it is. And now, Vahe, my friend, you suggested a good question about Kelsey. Now it's time to get to that. It's time for the reader portion of our podcast. Reader email. Ask the A-Team. That's the hashtag. Ask the EA-Team. And one of them actually came via text message. Shout out to my friend Ryan Scott Hall. This is a good question. Can you guys talk a little bit about Travis Kelce's inconsistency? He has immense talent, but so many mental mistakes and can disappear in games. Maybe I'm splitting hairs, but it's obvious he can be truly special, so I hold him to a high standard. I'm interested in your thoughts on Travis Kelce this year, guys. What do you think?
Well, one thing, let me jump on something real quick here, just because we got thinking about this last week. All of us in one form or another were thinking about this story, and Doug Peterson was pretty interesting on it on Thursday, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
And I thought, I'd have to look back at exactly how he said it, but I thought he basically said, yeah, the way he plays, who he is, there's trade-offs, and he's going to fumble some. I thought he was just making a concession to that's just going to happen and that's why you're also going to get the guy who can figure out a way to bust loose on 3rd and 6 for 26 yards. It all comes from the same cloth, but the part that doesn't account for is just the mental mistakes, the penalties, and he had a drop pass yesterday that was sort of inexplicable.
Yeah.
As he pulled it in, he just bounced it off his knee or
Yeah, we
something.
wondered if a hand had gotten in there, but it was all Kelsey.
It was all him. So anyway, that's my little burst on him. I just thought it was interesting that Doug Peterson almost seemed to concede the point that there's good and bad with him.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, but in the bigger picture, I will ride with Travis Kelce because I think a guy with that kind of talent, as long as you believe that he's committed and into the cause and committed to the cause, then I think you ride with that guy. And that's the vibe I get from him.
Not to interrupt you. I mean, I've covered Travis his career now.
Yeah.
I think I know him enough as a football player to think when this guy wasn't seeing a lot of passes this year, but they were winning. Like when that winning streak started happening, he was good with it, man. Like I talked to him a little bit. Dude, Travis was good. Like them passes weren't coming his way, but the team was winning. I think that dude cares more about winning than anything. Like he knows he's got to get his stats. He'll be a free agent after next year. Like he knows all that. But the best way for everybody to get paid is to win, and I think he gets that too. So I actually agree with you on that.
He had bad moments in each of the last two games. I thought his moments were worse in Oakland than they were yesterday. The penalty was kind of iffy. But the big mistake he made at Oakland, of course, was the catch should have gone out of bounds toward the end of the first half. Yeah. Instead, he stayed in, and Woodson makes the great strip and fumble return that led to the Raiders' touchdown right before halftime. And I just love how Kelce owned it after the game.
Yes.
You know,
Kelce
absolutely owned it,
He'll own it.
and you know was basically vowing it would never happen again. And look, fumbles do happen. But I'll go back to, Vahe, what you said earlier. Peterson said you have to take some of the bad with the good with Kelce. To me, you don't. You don't fumble. People who have had fumble problems have fixed fumble problems.
Right.
Fix the problem.
Right.
Don't fumble. Don't fumble.
Yeah.
There are ways not to fumble. He's got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I also think, what Vahe's kind of saying is that's a process to get there too. And like it's okay to be patient with that process. And especially with a contract year coming up, because every little mistake he makes, he'll get dinged for when that deal comes. So like that's what a thing is. Like yes, like you don't tolerate the errors, but when a guy cares that much and he's that gifted, he's gonna have a little longer rope to get it.
And you look to hook back to something you say all the time, and sort of back to what Sam said and what we were talking about Marcus Peters last week. You'll ride with that guy that loves the game and has immense talent. Now, to Blair's point, don't fumble.
That's important, right?
But you know what? It starts with that. Does the guy love the game? Does he have immense talent? Well, heck yeah, and you're gonna figure out a way to get him right.
I agree there. Got a few more questions here. Yeah, let's see. What do we got? All right. This one's from Goose KC. Anthony Sherman isn't touching the ball this year. Is there anything to that? As a beat guy, I'll answer real quick, and if you guys got anything to say, I mean, teams just aren't running 21 personnel like that anymore. Like, this isn't 1989. This ain't the Giants where they just, there's going to be a fullback on the field. They're going to run power. They're going to run ISO at you. There's going to be traps, and it's just not like that anymore. Like, the game's evolved to the point where it's important to throw the ball. Like, that's how you win. You win by throwing the ball now, And sometimes that extra tight end gives you the same blocking with the added versatility of being a bigger receiving threat than Sherman is. That said, I really like Anthony Sherman as a player. And I think whenever they can find a way to use him, that's good. Like there's nothing wrong with throwing in a little two back, one tight end, old school formation sets. If you can execute it, it works. It's fine. I just think that the way the league is going now, you see the fullbacks kind of died, and that's the reason why.
But you reminded me of this. He caught some balls the last couple of years too, though, and that
has kind of gone. Well, here's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of hungrier mouths to feed. Like you can get the ball to Macklin, you can do it. You can get the ball to Kelce, you want to do that. And then this number 2 top receiver they're trying to develop, you want to do that too. I mean, not everybody can get the football, and Sherman's so selfless. He just cares about winning. That's another guy that's just about, hey, I'll play special teams. I'll do all the dirty work. No one even knows who I am, but who cares? Like, we're trying to win. That's another one of those guys. So
last time I thought he was going to carry the ball, Dontari Poe did.
Is that 92 or 42? I can't quite tell the difference. It's
all right. So let me see. SKS McGinnis. I mean, do you guys? The questions about the penalties the Chargers benefiting from their own penalties at the end of the game, but like that's just part of the way the game flows sometimes, right? I mean, obviously other than D Ford's penalty, right? How much do you think that penalty really hurt them, though? Right? I mean,
well, look, we'd be breaking it down a lot differently if they lost on the second play they got.
And we
after
said that after the video,
right?
the post game video.
Right. It got down to that last play was run with 2 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it cost them a second. They probably, but even if it cost them a second, then they're having to think differently about what the play is. So.
The false start on Hairston, I don't think the Chargers didn't benefit from that because you thought the game was over because the play didn't score a touchdown, but the play never happened.
Right.
Because it was a false start.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Surprisingly, the refs screwed that up. I mean, they never should have let the play go on. It looked like the Chargers benefited, but if that touchdown happened, it wouldn't have counted. So,
okay.
Bingo. Yeah.
Real quick one here. I'll answer it because I'm the big guy. From Wildcat Mo, what happened to Ramik Wilson's playing time? He was hurt. Josh Moggs played well, and they've been winning. In this league, you don't mess with anything like that. You don't go changing up stuff. You don't go changing stuff up when you won 4 in a row or 5 in a row. You just keep it rolling. Josh has had some nice games recently. He's been okay, and you just don't mess it up. That doesn't mean that Ramik can't help, though. I really think it's really helped him playing next to Derek because he talks about Derek in almost reverential tones. Like, he loves that guy. Like, you learn a lot playing linebacker by playing next to Derek Johnson, even if the staff doesn't let you do everything they let Derek do, because Derek's an 11-year pro who can dive under stuff because they'll normally get there. But that's the reason why. Don't read too much into it. Marcus just played well. Only a couple more. And this is interesting. I actually do want to know what you guys think here. From Sports Scout. I like this guy. All right. What would you rather get the 3rd seed and play Pittsburgh and Kansas City, or go on the road to face the AFC South winner? Who's got a thought?
It depends on what your objective is. If the objective is to win every playoff game you play. But if it's ending the 22-year, what is it? Is it 22 years?
Yeah, it'll be 22.
I think the percentages of that right now today would be to play the AFC South winner anywhere. It would be there, obviously, in Indianapolis or Houston, and even Jacksonville has an outside shot at winning that division. I just watching the Steelers the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you want to mess with the Steelers, but
I don't want it.
I would the 5 seed against the 4 right now. I think the 5 would be the favorite.
Yeah, totally agree. I think you want that garbage AFC South team.
You said it better than I could.
I agree. Remember, guys, in the playoffs, quarterbacks that get you beat.
Yeah. Ben
Roethlisberger. No, like just, and that's the same reason. I think I'm on an island. Like, I know, my I don't want the Colts argument was there was a huge hole put in that ship when the Jaguars put 51 on them yesterday, but they didn't have Andrew Luck. If Andrew Luck comes back, if I were a Chiefs fan, I wouldn't want that. I just too many bad memories, too much bad juju. I'll pass on.
You'd rather play Ben Roethlisberger?
Oh, no, of course not.
Okay.
But I was just saying, like, quarterbacks that get you beat.
Right, okay.
Thanks for helping me finish that. Right.
Yeah.
Like, quarterbacks that get you beat. So, like, I wouldn't want Andrew Luck. So, I wouldn't want Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay,
right?
okay.
It's interesting that we all seem to feel this way, that the quarterback factor matters more than home field in this little microcosm that we're talking about.
No matter where you're at, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, and look, there have been some recent examples of 5 and 6 seeds winning on the road all the way to the Super Bowl. Yep. I mean, the Steelers did it in 2005. The Giants did it the second time they beat the Patriots. Didn't the Packers get to the Super Bowl as a 5 or a 6 when they beat the Steelers? Mm-hmm. So winning on the road in the postseason happens. It happens. So get there first. Get there and if they go on the road, I think their chances are pretty good if it's a 5 versus a 4.
In recent Chiefs history, they have proven that the road team can win a playoff game at Arrowhead.
All right, our last question of the day, and this is a good one from Country Boy 567. Thank you. If Alex Smith was an actor, who would he be? So we gotta start. So let's start thinking about that a little bit. You take a look at Alex Smith's game, compare that to actors. I think you'd be looking for somebody who's who you can win Best Picture with. You can win it, but he wouldn't be the lead actor.
Not carrying the picture.
Right,
he doesn't carry the picture.
Right, like you can't. This isn't one of those things where you could just hire Tom Cruise in his prime and it's gonna gross, 150 million or something, right? Or Denzel in his prime, because Denzel is clearly like Aaron Rodgers,
right?
Or Tom Brady, right? Or Tom Hanks.
Hanks would be the same
right.
way.
So
right.
so we're thinking maybe Best Supporting Actor in this thing. And the first guy that came to mind for me, William H. Macy. Just a respectable actor, a guy who's been in lots of good films. You know who he is. You know his name too, just because he's been in stuff.
He's a winning actor.
He's been right. That guy's had a
Doesn't turn the ball over.
He
in any of
manages
his
movies.
scenes.
Right.
He manages his scenes as well as any actor.
He's made enough money. So that's my selection.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Who's got one? Sam? Sam, you got one?
I'm going to go a little different direction, so
Go
why don't
ahead.
you go with Sam? You go first, and
Okay,
I'll circle.
Steve Buscemi. I feel good about this one. Is it even like self-explanatory?
I gotta tell you, because Boardwalk Empire, pretty good. I mean, he's been in some good stuff.
And he was like pretty much the lead in Boardwalk Empire,
Right.
but still needed strong,
Like there were guys around him,
support.
right?
Yeah.
Fargo is what I think.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
the classic Fargo. Yes.
And we made season that
That's
too,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to get out of Fargo and go to something else. I got two ideas, and it kind of contradicts your concept here. But I think of him as the understated lead man.
And that's okay.
So
That's okay.
I got maybe Henry Fonda. This is dating me a little bit.
A little
little.
bit.
A little
Yeah.
bit, or very specific Gregory Peck and To Kill a Mockingbird. Just subdued. He's not flashy, right? He's not the guy who's got to be the. In fact, wasn't that on the Parcells list?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be. He's not the class clown, and he's not the leading man.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he can be the leading man. I'm really ruining my own argument,
No.
but the point is, I see him as a little more than just that.
All right. Blair, you got anybody in mind?
No,
Are you
I'm
co-signing with somebody.
Yeah. William H. Macy is, I think, ideal for this.
I'm in. Love it. It's great. All right. Well, we're gonna wind this thing on down now, and hey, we appreciate you guys listening. This is another reminder here. Make sure you rate and review us on iTunes. That actually matters. We'd appreciate it if you guys did that. And before we actually get out of here, I want you guys to give us a. We're gonna start off with one last new feature, the bold prediction of the week, and I think, kind of looking forward here, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll start off, and if you guys have something, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. But I think starting off, I think we gotta start thinking that. And you wrote about this, Blair. That AFC West title ain't completely out of the realm of possibility.
Nope.
Like that could really be right there. But here's my prediction. Y'all aren't gonna like this. They win the next two, sets up a chance for them to win the AFC West. The last game of the season,
Oakland Raiders.
and they lose at home to Oakland. That would be, I could see that happening. The weather would be bad. Oakland's, they'll be playing for pride. They're better than everyone thinks they are. That would be my bold prediction of the week. If anybody else has got something, let me hear it, man.
I'll go a little bit opposite. I say that the Chiefs will end up in the playoffs, but at some point in the next 3 weeks, they will be out of the playoffs. They'll have to win their way back in because the teams that are around them right now, the Steelers and the Jets, all 3 8-5 teams, all three teams are playing great. They're not losing. Some schedules are more difficult than others on the way. But I just think the Chiefs they've played themselves into the playoffs, onto the bracket, and I don't know if I want to say they've been comfortable there, but it just seems like they've been there for such a long time. I think they're just they'll lose a game. They'll be the 7th seed, but then when it's all said and done, they'll be in the playoffs.
All right. It looks like you and I are the only ones willing to step out on a limb this week. That's okay, but next week you guys are gonna have something for me now. All right. That was brought to you by Prince from the 1989 Batman.
Think about the future.
Yep. So we're gonna do that one every week, and we're gonna have something for you because we're in the prognostication game. It's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to think about stuff and try and predict stuff. So, all right. Remember again, rate and review us on iTunes. And before we get out of here, guys, plug something you got coming this week. If you got anybody working on something fun that you want to reveal, or you want to wait.
Got multiple spinning plates that may or may not take. So
Mellinger minutes.
Mellinger minutes. We know we got that.
What about you, Blair?
Mellinger minutes.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This is Terez, Paylor. And I got Vahe Gregorian, Sam Mellinger, Blair Kerkhoff, man. It was a blast doing this with you guys. Till next week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Hit the music.